Hello, my name is Spencer Weitzel. I play Keith in The Burial, and you are watching Kings of Horror.
Hi, I'm Faith Kearns. I play Molly, and you're watching Kings of Horror.
Hello, I'm Michael Escalante, the writer and director of The Burial, and you're watching Kings of Horror.
Who was that?
That was my brother, and I haven't told you much about him.
Everybody's family has problems.
He's an alcoholic. He specifically asked me to come alone. Thank you for coming. He's probably not even gonna be himself. He will find new ways of getting into trouble.
It does seem like it can get really scary out there.
Just don't stay out too late. It's gonna get dark soon.
Yeah, why are we here, Keith?
Trust me.
Where are we going? What is this?
You didn't get far.
What did you do?
I didn't know what to do. I didn't know who to call.
It was an accident, right? You gotta call the cops. You wanted to bury him? I'm never talking to you again after this.
Hello? Did something happen last night?
What'd you do to the car, Keith?
Ever since I've been here, I felt like I was being watched.
Does anyone else live around here?
I feel like I'm hearing things.
Stay inside. We're coming back right now.
We've never met. Think I was dead. I could bear just about anything.
We know what used to happen here.
I killed the man that's outside.
I don't know how he's back.
Why didn't you tell me?
I never wanted you to come here.
You want to know what happens next?
We stick together.
I am what you think I am. All he did was trust the wrong person.
There is no stopping what's coming.
For me, I've always grown up with a very movie-oriented family. Going to the movies was a very common thing, especially that my mom would kind of bring me after school as a treat very often. So I grew up with a love of just going to the movies. But it wasn't until like high school, college, where I started to see it as like a potential career path because I really discovered a love of writing. So when I went to UCLA as an English major, I knew I wanted to get involved in the movie business in some manner. So I interned at Roger Corman's New Horizons Pictures, which is where I started kind of meeting people and getting a little traction on some scripts. But ultimately, I was helping my brother a lot, Sean, who is the cinematographer on The Burial, and he was making indie features with Spencer and Faith, which is where we all met. And I've also known Spencer from theater work that my brother did with him as well. So we just kind of been in the same circle for a while. And there just came a time where I had an opportunity to make a micro budget indie horror film, and I knew exactly who I wanted to be in it from the get-go. So that's pretty much how I got started.
I don't know. I just needed attention since I was a child, so whatever. I became an actor. Started taking it seriously though in college and in my 20s. I was in the theater company in LA with Michael's brother Sean, and we made a bunch of weird artsy fartsy stuff. Some of it was good, some of it was not, but we had fun anyway. That eventually led to this.
Okay, I don't know. I remember being like 10 and watching a commercial and being like, oh, I could do that. And that's kind of what happened. And then not too long after that, there was a clerical error at school, so I had to repick my elective. So I got to pick drama. And then I just followed that, through high school and through college, which is where I met Spencer, and we did a bunch of shows in college together. And I also went to UCLA as an English major, which is weird because I don't think we've ever talked about that, Michael. But yeah. But I also got my associates in theater from UCLA. And then, just pounded the pavement, rolled around in LA, did some theater stuff as well, did some indie stuff as well. And, now we're here. and then I got to do The Burial.
Yeah, so like it was 2018 when I had done some stuff like writing scripts, like kind of like ghost writing assignments that I can't talk about. But I just had a period where, I was living at home and stuff had kind of dried up. So it's like, do I get a job or do I try and make a movie right now? Because I have this window of opportunity. And so I remember I just sat down. I was like, what do I have access to, and what can I make a movie out of with using what I have? So I knew we had just been working on Sean, my brother's other movie. So I knew I was in recent contact with Spencer, with Faith, and I thought, I think I can get 4 people. So I kind of like reverse engineered an idea essentially from there. I knew Tony, our producer, had access to a cabin we could shoot at. And so it was kind of just taking all these pieces and trying to figure out what can I feasibly achieve with the limited resources I do have right now. My brother Sean is, friends with Spencer and Faith. We had all worked on one of his projects together. And so I think I just sent emails to them saying, do you want to be?
I got an email. I don't remember. I guess it was an email, dude. I don't remember that. But I do remember thinking like, okay, indie horror, couple weeks, let's do this. Before I even like read the script, I was just pretty game to make something movie. And then, but I do remember reading the script going like, oh shit, this is good.
I remember the email. I remember the email Michael sent me, being like, hey, I think I have a part for you. If you're interested, here's the script. And I remember thinking like, oh, okay, it'll probably be like a scene, like a little, like just a little fun, something like in and out. And then I read it and I was like, oh shit, I'm in all of it. And I was really excited.
And then, at the time I was super into like Twilight Zone, Tales from the Crypt, Creep Show. So I thought, I think I can write a really solid, like moral piece of horror, kind of like very clear black and white decisions that get muddied up by relationships to one another. And so I wrote it kind of fast because I knew like I want to start filming it within the next few months. I think it was written in like July and we were filming by January. So it was pretty fast, and I just kind of want to keep that momentum going because I figured if I slow down, that's when variables get introduced or people get busy. So it was very much like I have the opportunity and here's what I have access to. Let's see what I can do with it.
I just remember being like surprised that like this is such a tight story that could almost be done on a stage, frankly. So much of it, because so much of it is so character driven and dialogue driven. And that excited the hell out of me. Just the script itself was one of the best scripts I've read, from like being handed a script from a friend. Like it was just so up there, man. And it was it was really exciting. And and all of the characters were cool too. And so not knowing which one we were going to play yet, it was kind of just like a win-win-win scenario, really.
And I had the same experience as Spencer. I was like, just really pleased with the quality of the script and how fun, like I could already tell what a blast we would have behind the scenes in making this happen. As we've said, because we are all friends, and that's how, we had already worked on Sean's project before, and like I said, like I've known these guys for a while, so it was just like, absolutely, like let's pile into a cabin, let's make it happen. It was a dream.
Yeah, so I've seen articles describe and compare the movie to A Simple Plan, and like Coen Brothers stuff along those lines. And that was a major influence because I love those movies where it's just like super simple setup. Oh, they found money, and what happens when you take it? Like when you take something that probably going to have some conditions to go along with it. But a big movie, I don't know if I really talked about it, is called Wendigo by Larry Fessenden, which is like another cabin in the woods sort of movie set in the snow. I just love how that looks, and it was like this really intimate family drama that like in the last 20 minutes is like, oh yeah, and there's also a Wendigo like that's involved in this. I just love movies that like if you watch like the first act and then you kind of skip to the third. I love it when it's like, how did we get here? Like we're in a different kind of genre. The stakes are completely different now. So that was kind of what I was kind of drawing from, in addition to like just generally enjoying like, again, like creep show type plot lines or EC horror comics, stuff that's real simple, because I didn't really want to bite off more than I can chew, because it's my first feature.
Well, I have a brother in life, so immediately it was like, I know what that feels like, having a brother. He's a real great guy though. Anyway, what I played not entirely similar characters before, but enough. I'd done a couple shows that sort of explored some like broken characters, like people struggling with addiction, that sort of thing. I certainly can latch on to feeling like the black sheep of a family. That was just right there.
One of my ways into Molly was this tension of, she almost has to explain to Vernon in that first scene like what it means to be a couple. Like she almost has to explain to him that like you don't get to take secret phone calls from your family and then like disappear and not talk to me about it. Like, we are a team. That's what she literally says. And she's, she has to sort of walk into this very dysfunctional family dynamic and be the self sort of in that situation. So I had like, certainly I've been in relationships where that tension exists, right? Where like you're pretending at intimacy, but it hasn't really been achieved yet.
And I just thought, I knew I had a great cast. Script and then point the camera in the right direction, they're gonna carry it for me, I think. And that was a big part of the writing too. I knew like they're stage actors, we can do long takes, they can handle long meaty monologues. I'm sure they're gonna like that. And so that was also a big part of writing it. Like my favorite scene is like this really long dinner scene that takes place kind of like at the midpoint of the movie. And when you think of horror films, you don't necessarily think of like long monologues as like the like the horror climax. But I thought, with this cast, I was like, I think it can work if I get these people. So there's a mixture of these outside influences, but also knowing like what did I have in front of me, kind of went into the writing of the script.
And that that stuff is kind of scary to research. It's like it's an ominous thing to like dive into, but you just gotta do it. And I already had like kind of those doors were sort of already open, so I just went like, okay, I'm gonna go back into that universe and start feeling those feelings again, and just trying to find like what's the little broken thing, like what's the center of it to begin from. And also Vernon and I, the Vernon who plays my brother, we've known each other since high school. And we did theater together in high school, so he and I already had this very long friendship and bond and brotherhood, and in a way, in many ways. So we were, I don't know, I felt like there was just a lot of shorthand already, and a lot of things that already kind of just let it go. So we just had to do that in the snow.
But also with Molly, I had this challenge of like being the healthy person who can walk in and be like, this is not right, and I'm here to help, and like you can come stay with us, and like we're gonna solve this and heal this together, which is like, I don't know, that part felt like a stretch. But it was also fun and therapeutic for myself to have to use this language and be this person.
Oh god, it's probably the actual burial scene, which is I think the only scene we had to do twice. So I guess Faith wasn't there, right? It was me, Sean, Vernon, and Spencer, and we were like, okay, we have a whole day dedicated to shoot the burial scene, and it was super cold. It was, I don't know, it was in the 30s. It was like the coldest day. We chose the wrong day to do it. My fingers were freezing. I had jackets ready, but I didn't think about gloves. I couldn't feel my fingers. The batteries were draining really fast. And that was because it was going kind of smooth. Like, we were all living together. We're getting a lot of pages done kind of fast. I think once I got kind of into the groove, I was like, we're kind of chugging. like this is gonna happen, you know, because we filmed it, most of it over like a week. But the burial scene was rough just because of environmental elements and camera equipment issues. And that was the one time where I got kind of scared. I mean, I tried not to show it, but I was like, oh man, there's a lot that takes place outdoors in the snow in this movie. I don't know if I made a mistake, because then once you establish that there's snow, you can't move away from it necessarily. Um, but we got through it. Everyone was really nice and chill about it, no pun intended. And then we ended up being able to finish it at a different location that's spliced together to look like one. But it just showed me that like when we have a good team around you, even when you get thrown like a major curveball that like threatens to like maybe mess everything up, if you have a good team and you kind of just stay calm, you can fix it. And that's kind of what we end up having to do, unfortunately for that. But it ended up working.
It was so beautiful. One thing that I'll remember is just how beautiful it was when it wasn't terrible, when we weren't freezing, when you know, when we weren't doing stuff we shouldn't have been doing, I guess because we were too cold to be doing it. It was so pretty, like when we would just go on our little walks to the location and just be surrounded by the nature. That was so great. There was straight up an eclipse while we were up there. There was like a lunar eclipse. I'll remember that because I was being such a dick. Everyone's like, we gotta go film, and I was like, no, the Umbra, like we have to see the full eclipse. We're in the mountains. It's like, no, we gotta get the shot. I'm like, the eclipse. Yeah, remember that. Gosh, what else? There was also archery at one of the locations. We went back to do pickups, like a week, or I can't remember. There was a tiny break. We went back up to a different location to do exteriors. I think I'm saying this correctly. Yeah, to do some pickups, and there was archery at this location. Just some bow and arrow, and we were shooting at targets in the woods. It was such a fun actor camp we got to do while we were making this movie, you know.
We had such a blast, just like, you know, when we were wrapped, because we were staying in the places where we were filming. So we were all piled into this cabin together. And so, you know, we would wrap and we would eat and just entertain each other for the rest of the night. And I just remember playing a million rounds of Go Fish and just cracking each other up. It's just like the simplest game. And I can't remember any of the jokes, but I don't know. I've laughed that hard a few other occasions in my life. Just getting to run around in the nature was the most fun.
The way I wrote it, I wanted everyone to have something that they can relate to from it. You know, a lot of people have similar relationships to their brothers, so you can take away, you know, despite everything that they go through and that they do to each other, you know, if you love your brother, you can overcome a lot of situations, and to appreciate your relationships while you have them, because who knows what could happen in the future. Now, you're probably not going to run into a possessed dead body trying to tear you apart, but you know, it's a metaphor. You know.
If anybody's watching that is like an artist and an indie filmmaker, I think you could look at this and just, it's screaming at you to like go make your damn movie, you know, like you can do it. And find your friends, and find the right friends to make your project and go do it. Like I think this is inspiring in a lot of ways.
When I watched it back, I was struck again by how grounded it is, and how it really is, like we've been talking about, it is character driven, it's dialogue driven. You can feel those theater relationships and that theater influence coming through. And I love that. And that's something that I look for in every genre of film. And I think that was my takeaway from it. I hope that's how other people perceive it. I hope that's how it lands for other people. I hope that they feel that richness of text and interpersonal relationships and drama, which is what we're here for. And also, and love each other. And I hope they feel the love. Like it's a scary movie, and it's, you get, the cool tingles on the back of your neck and stuff, and you get the jump scares. But I also hope that it's somehow like maybe subtextually there, that, you can sense how much fun it was for us to make,
But the other thing is, a lot of people watch horror films like this and they think, well, I would never do that, or I would always do the right thing. And so Molly's character, played by Faith, is sort of meant to be a stand-in for that. The person that really doesn't do anything wrong, is only trying to help, but gets drawn into it anyway. So I think people that may not necessarily relate to like the brother relationship, or they would say, I'm always going to do the right thing, I think Molly is the character that's there for them to relate to and to attach to, and to realize that no matter how good of a person you are, sometimes you might find yourself in a situation that you didn't create, and maybe you can look to Molly as a way to maneuver through something like that.
And love each other. or else you better love each other. You better.